So hi, this is Tabliz, and today we're going to talk about introduction to macroeconomics. Welcome to MR Coaching Center, and this is our first video in class 12th, not second, sorry, first video in class 12th exam-oriented classes section, economics. So let's get started, and let's start with the class overview. What are the topics which we're going to cover in this specific chapter? And you have in the last, I will give you some tips as well on how to write your answers. So there you go. You can see. So we're going to discuss introduction to macroeconomics. Under that, we're going to discuss what is the meaning of macroeconomics and macro versus microeconomics as well as some basic concepts such as final or intermediate goods, stock, flow variables, consumption and capital goods, and specifically the circular flow of income in which two sector model. And we're going to also talk about this importance and emergence of macroeconomics. So let's get started with the meaning of macroeconomics. So what do you mean by macroeconomics? Yeah, you can just comment down your answers, I believe. So yeah, macroeconomics is a branch in which we consider economy as a whole. Okay, we study economy as a whole. In microeconomics, whereas in microeconomics we study economy as a uh, we study individual units of an economy, but in macro we study whole economy as a single unit, or we can say economy as a whole. We're going to talk about in macroeconomy, and in microeconomy specifically, we talk about the individual transaction, individual losses, or individual transactions. But here we're going to talk about the whole nationwide issues such as unemployment, or else infrastructure, inflation, deflation, all kinds of things here in macroeconomics. Okay, and let's I'll just show you the next slide. So differentiate between micro and macroeconomics. Actually, we have done this in the previous uh, class 11th first chapter as well. That is introduction to microeconomics. So as you know, in microeconomics, we study individual units of economy, but in macroeconomics, we study economy as a whole. In microeconomics, we focus on individual transactions, individual products, small demand, supply, everything. But in macro, we study about aggregate demand, aggregate supply, employment, unemployment, income, and inflation, deflation, and GDP as well. So these are the topics which we're going to discuss in macroeconomics. You can just see this table which we have designed in a way so that if they ask you this question for 3 marks, usually this chapter you will specifically find questions from either from 1 mark or 3 mark. Occasionally they might ask for 4 mark, as it is an introductory chapter. They won't be giving you like 5 mark, 6 mark, or something like that. Okay. So the objectives of microeconomics, they have already done. What are the objectives of microeconomics? Means proper allocation of resources. But whereas in macroeconomics, we study about the whole economical growth, like whether our country is growing properly, or whether the recession is about to occur, or whether there is a bubble in the economy. Specifically, we use macroeconomy, try to stabilize the whole economy. Okay, we use macroeconomic in order to stabilize the whole economy. Okay, there you go. You have examples as well. For example, like just take an example of this airport. Okay, this is airport. Okay, airport might not be a good example. Okay, we can take a typical example. That's so big as for it. You can see this lock. Okay, so I'm using this lock. Okay, I'm using this lock, and let's say this lock is somewhere around some X amount. But now, if I'm getting the same lock for 2x amount, means the price of lock has been like it has grown. Okay, the price of lock is just going up. So if I see how it will affect my budget, like as I just broke my new lock and I just have to buy a new lock. So that comes under microeconomics. But let's see what if how it will gonna affect the whole economy. Okay, whole economy, like there are so many houses throughout this country, and if they want to buy a lock together, something like that, in that case, how it will affect their budget, that would be considered under macroeconomics. Lock is not a very stable example. We can take an example of tomato. or else any fruit or something like that. Tomato is a very essential, um, actually, it's a food, yeah, essential food. But we considered as a vegetarian. So that's all right. So yeah, tomato. If tomato prices rise by like 50 to 20 rupees, how it will affect my budget? That would be studied under microeconomics. But how it will affect thousands of people's budget, such as thousands of Indians' budget, that would be actually studied under uh, macroeconomics. That's the actual difference between micro and macro. So in macro, we study the whole economical issues, everything. But in micro, we study the individual issues. And the basic one is final and intermediate code. What do you mean by final good and what do you mean by intermediate code? Final good, which is something which is ready to consume. Okay, it's not like you do not have to uh, keep that, or you do not have to send that final good to further production. It is final, means it's ready to use, such as this. You can use my handkerchief. This is ready to use. Okay, but whereas what is intermediate good? Let's take an example of the same handkerchief. There is small threads in it, right? Like the threads together, it forms a kerchief. So if I use that thread, okay, if I have just threads, do you think I would able to use that directly to wipe my face or something like that? No, it's not. It needs to be what we can say. It's need to be put into some further production. Then only it's possible to become a final good. Okay, every final good was also intermediate good previously. Okay, first intermediate goods, then if you put the intermediate goods into further production, then it will become a final good. Okay, that's how the intermediate good works, and that's how the final good works. Okay, final is something which is this directly ready to use. Okay, and in national income, final good is included, but in this thing it is not included. In intermediate code it is not included. For example, let's take this example now. Okay, so for the same lock example. Okay, this is a final code, like it's ready to use. You can see the key, can see, right? You can see the key and just put that key inside and it is open now. What the hell is it? Okay. Okay, so this is the final. So this is included in national income. Okay. National income, such as GDP, everything. Okay. It is included in GDP. If I sold this, it could be included under GDP. But this is not, this is a final quote now. What about this? This is an intermediate quote. Means this both forms a final quote. If I count this whole thing as a final good and take this into accountability that I have noted this under GDP, and then if I recount this keys price, do you think that would be good? It is double counting. Like I'm counting this double. First, as a final good, I counted this once. And then if I make this alag thing, this is a intermediate good. This is also intermediate good. So if I recount this under national income, so this won't go. Because I'm counting double. As a final good, I'm counting one. As an intermediate good, I'm counting this one and this one alag. So this won't work. In order to avoid double counting, we won't add intermediate goods under national income. And examples, okay, there's a great example over here as well. Car purchased by household and tires used in the manufacturing plant. Car purchased by my household. Okay, not specifically okay, my household. But I'll see that car purchase will be recorded as the GDP. Okay, GDP aspect be recorded as GDP. But again, if you record the tires prices under GDP, do you think that would be a beneficial thing or that would be a good thing? Absolutely not. I'm double counting the same thing. Okay. The parts which are used to make the car together and more, the parts which are used to make the car, those are all considered as intermediate goods. But the final product which you can see, the whole car, that is a final good. So if I consider the whole price of the car, that's a final good car price. And again, if I'm trying to get the separate parts ka price, engine ka price, itta, iska price, itta, iska price, itta, if I'm counting that under national income, that would be double counting, count as a double counting. That's why we won't include national income included in this intermediate goods. So I hope you're clear with this. Let's talk about consumption and capital goods. So what is consumption or consumable goods or what are capital goods. Consumer goods is like which gives direct satisfaction to you. Okay, directly for humans, directly satisfaction. For example, let's scroll Instagram for some time, or I'm craving for biryani. Okay, just go and have let's just go and have biryani. That would also considered as a consumable food. Okay, let's get this direct instant satisfaction, which consumer good gives instant satisfaction, whereas capital good, it's like it doesn't give instant satisfaction, but it will help you in the long term. Okay, for your goods and services. Let's see, I have a business. I have my business. So let's say I have a plywood business. As I have a plywood business, I need that machine which cuts plywood. Okay, but that do you think that machines instantly gives satisfaction for me? No, it would give me the satisfaction, but in the long term process. In the long term, I'm using that machines to cut my playwoods properly, and I'm not wasting any playwood. So it will definitely give me satisfaction when the profit comes in. Okay, when the profit comes in the business, but it's not an instant satisfaction. And usually machines are very durable. Okay, they cause wear and tear occasionally, but you need some replacement for that. That's all right, but still they are durable. But does the kachori which I'm eating, does it is a durable product? Absolutely not. So that's why consumer products are non-durable, but whereas capital goods or capital products are actually durable. Okay, they cause wear and tear. They do cause wear and tear, but still the consumable goods are non-durable. So here are some examples for you. Okay, okay, you can see the examples as well. Okay, foods, clothes, TV, and machinery, tools, buildings as well. They do not got instant satisfaction. Same for the building. Okay, if I have a building, if I own a building, the moment I build that building, I won't get like full satisfaction, something like that. But the moment I am done with building that building, and after the people are asking that I want this space, how much is the rent, and they just after I got all the tenants with the building, then after I got some profit every month, I'm getting some lump sum amount. So that would give me a satisfaction. Okay, it would give you a satisfaction in your goods and services in the long term. Okay, and it's durable as well. Building is durable. It's not like I've just bought a building or I've just built a building, and tomorrow it's not there. It just collapse. It doesn't happen over there until unless you use Bihar building. Okay, let's not talk about it. Let's talk about stock and flow variable. Okay, what is stock variable and what is flow variable? Flow. Okay, we'll talk about stock first. Okay, stock is some quantity. Okay, at a point of time. Like for example, in this 2020-25, at this point of time, let's assume I have, this is an example, this is not true. Okay, let's assume I have 50 shares of Nvidia. Okay, I had 50 shares of Nvidia at this point. So that would be considered under stock. What is flow? Flow is I had 100 shares of Nvidia, but now over this period of time, I just have 50 of them, like rest of the 50, I just sold them. That is flow. So it's a recorded, okay, it's a quantity recorded over a period of time. Or we can say measured at a period of time, over a period of time. But under stock, you can say at a point of time. At this point of time, how many shares do I own Nvidia? That's 50. So that's 50. Consider this 10, 20. Okay, that's 50. But in flow, in the case of flow, I owned previously 100 shares of Nvidia, but over the period of time, I lost 50. Not I lost 50. I sold 50 and I just have 50 now over a period of time. So you can see the transaction or the quantity recorded over a period of time. That is flow. But whereas in stock, at point of time, how many shares do I own? 50. That is stock. Okay. An example, you do have an example here. I have also given an example for you. But the relation here, it goes like, okay, well we're talking about stock. Stock is a result of accumulated flows. Means it's a result of how much accumulated growth we have seen. But flow is a change in that stock. Like as I will take my same example. I had I have 50 Nvidia share at this point. So this will be considered under stock. By at this point of time, I have 50 shares of Nvidia. But if I want to explain flow to you, here it goes, something like this. Flow, I had previously 100 shares of Nvidia. Now I have 50. There is a change in shares. What is a change in shares? It's not increasing shares, it's decreasing share. 50 has been decreased. So this is the change in stock. At that point of time, I had 100. But at this point of time, I have 50. There is a change now for 50 stocks. Yeah, for 50 shares. That is flow. Simple thing. Okay. Stock is at this point of time how many you have. Flow is change in that stock. Previously, how many you had over that period of time. If I take a period of 2 years, for the first year I had 100, for the second year I have 50. So this is change in the stock that is known as flow. Let's talk about some circular flow of income. This concept is really interesting when I'm talking about circular flow of income. So here you can see this diagram. I was very much interested to show the diagram actually. Okay, what is circular flow of income? So it actually shows, it's a concept which actually shows ki income earned by me, or we can say income, if somebody is earning income, for other people it becomes an expenditure. How it becomes an expenditure? For example, I'm working for someone to make these videos. Okay, working for my boss. Okay, so she has to get like I has to get paid. I had to get paid for this work what I'm doing. So she'll pay me. Okay, she'll pay some X amount to my account. So it will show ki some X amount has been credited to my account. So it's an income for me, but for her it's an expenditure, right? She has to do an expenditure ki okay, this month ka these are the expenditures I have. So this much salaries I have to be paid, this much salaries have yet to be paid, and this much salaries are already paid, and this much amount which I'm expecting from my clients, from the clients which she's getting amount, she's getting some amount, X amount from clients, right? So that amount is income for her, but expenditure for her clients. Okay, got it. Okay, for example, we can talk about the firms and the households here. Okay, so the products purchased by the household, it's an expenditure for them, but it's an income for firms, right? And one more thing I'm going to talk about is a 5-day work life policy. So why it is okay if we assume 7-day work life policy, in that what we can say ki 7 day you don't have any time, you're just spending time. Let's say you are working at an IT company, so you're working as a producer. Okay, you're producing something. Okay, it might be a good or it might be a service. Okay, but you are working as a producer for your company or your firm. Okay, but after working for so many hours, after working for so many days, you don't have some free time so that you can spend the time with your family, go out, see, like, just go to some fancy restaurant or where like roam wherever you want. So when you're doing this, you spend some money. Okay, but you don't have time to do this as you have 7-day work life balance. Well, not we can't even say that it's a work life balance, but yeah, 7-day work life you have. So what government or what the firms decided? Okay, government was also involved. What firms decided? We will make 5 days work life. 5 days these people will work with us as our producers, like they produce our the goods or service, whatever it might be. But for the 6th and 7th day, they roam with their family, they spend time with their family, they go out, they become consumer. So it was a mutual understanding between all firms. Okay, if I'm going out, if I'm buying some product, if I'm even buying a cold drink, so the cold drink people is getting money, like the firm who made the cold drink is getting money. What, but still, what we can understand from this key, 5 days I work at the cold drink company as a producer, producing that cold drink bottles. But the 6th and 7th day, I'm itself is using that cold drink bottles. So I became a consumer for that. So it was a mutual understanding between brands. They made a 5-day work-life balance. So that 2 days you spend time with your family and you become consumer and you create the demand in the market for the products. That's how circular flow of income works. And there is two flows: real flow and uh, basically two types of two sector model. Okay, where you discuss real flow and money flow. Here you go. Real flow, where the household, the household, what we're gonna do, they spend money on the products or goods or services the firms will gonna actually earn. Okay, but in money flow, firms pay income for the employees who are working at their, okay, we can say, or firms pay income for their households. But in real flow, households pay or buy some products which will gonna benefit, which will gonna eventually make the firms earn money. Okay, that's how it works. So here's some circular flow of examples. Like, as I give an example of, I'm working for someone. If she's spending on me, like if she's giving me the income, sorry, if she's giving me my salary, so it's an income for me, but it's an expenditure for her. So similarly, there are some set of examples over there. You can just take a screenshot over there and just have it. Or else I'll be just uploading the same notes, the exact notes in the description. You can just view that. I am also gonna upload the quiz questions over there. You can just answer the quiz questions, and let's see how many people understand this concept. So the significance of macroeconomics. So it helps us actually make policies, okay, like monetary policies, fiscal policies, and on. It actually predicts, or we can say, it actually gives the direction for our economy, whether it is in a recession, whether it is growing, or whether it is there is a bubble in the economy, and it also shows whether the per capita income is increasing, whether the employment is increasing or unemployment is increasing, or so many things. And we also need this type of metrics in order to predict whether our economy is better than different countries economy. Like usually India, like if you see Indian economy, they usually compare themselves with Pakistan or different Japan. Now you can see that article also, then they have published key per capita income as like sorry, the GDP of India just crossed Japan, but you can see the geography of Japan. It's just this much, and if you compare with India, it's so much big country and so much big population. And even if you see the per capita income, it's horrible. Yeah. So this metrics helps us to actually understand the comparison, to compare the economies of two countries or more than two countries, and what are the emergence of economy, how it was previously before 1929. Okay, actually 1929, there were no such thing as macroeconomics. So people used to predict everything by using this metrics, for by using this microeconomic metrics, by using individual transactions, individual expenditure. You can just have a look on this thing. Yeah. So after the Great Depression, which occurred in 1929, so many people lost their home, jobs, everything. Okay, it was, as an amateur suggests, it's a Great Depression. So after that, it lead to the we understood that this model is not the sufficient to predict the economy boom or recession, whether the economy is going growing properly or it is forming a bubble, something like that. So for that, we there was a person known as Maynard. Okay, he actually uh, proposed a model of macroeconomics. He proposed a model for macroeconomics. It's actually not his picture. You can just have a look. There's a, this picture is not from him, but yeah, Maynard actually published the great theory of employment, in which he talk about interest, payments, everything, most of the different metrics of macroeconomics. Okay, then only he formed a macroeconomics. Before that, there was no such thing as macroeconomics. Before that, everybody used to consider the economy. Everybody used to actually get the view of the economy from microeconomics itself. There was no such thing as macroeconomics before John Maynard published this great theory of employment in 1936. So after that, our new focus was on aggregate demand, aggregate supply, and employment, inflation, deflation. These all terms formed after 1936, after this theory was published. And these are the frequently asked questions. As I told you earlier, these questions are mostly one markers. As it is an introductory topic, you won't be getting like 5 markers, 6 markers from this topic. So especially you can expect the most repeated and every year repeated questions from 1 markers or 3 markers. But occasionally you can also expect from 4 markers. But occasionally, okay, you can just see these questions. And I'm going to also add some new questions in your quiz. You can just attend the quiz and let us know what could be done better. So here, 3 marker questions. Differentiate microeconomics, macroeconomics. So many questions. I can just view all the questions, and I've also answered these questions in a way that you would get maximum marks. I'm confident with that. You won't even lose 1 mark if you write your answers in this way. And I have also mentioned how to write your answers. Let me just show you that slide. So here's that slide. Key answer in like how to answer. Write the first two definitions, or we can decide write the NCRT definition for the first time. Because when the teacher see the answer, when the individual sorry, when the teacher sees that answer, he or she will feel ki, oh, this definition is from NCRT. The person who wrote this answer has that knowledge that this topic is correct what he has written, and give 2 to 3 examples. Two examples are more than enough for 4 markers. Two examples, but 4 markers are occasionally seen this chapter. It's not like you can see in every chapter. Okay, and draw diagrams if necessary. Okay, if necessary, for like 3 mark or 4 mark questions. If you feel like if you want to write a diagram so that you make sure that you won't lose marks from this chapter and from this question. And if you feel like you have time, just go ahead and write it. Okay, and underline the main questions. Okay, well, for example, if I'm talking about what is macroeconomics, macroeconomics is a study in which we study economy as a whole. You have to underline economy as a whole. Okay, so that the underlying the line which you have underlined, the teacher will directly see that and okay, oh, she feel like, oh, this answer's right. He or she has written that. And for 4 markers, as I told you occasionally, but for 4 markers usually, write 4 bullet points. Okay, like 4 bullet points and one conclusion line. If you write in this way, I'm damn sure that you never will lose a single mark over here. I'm sure about this thing. And everything should be in the neat, structured way. It's not like you're just scribbling and writing. And if you have a good handwriting, that's a very great plus point. And let's recap whatever we have studied today. We studied what is macroeconomics. We studied difference between macro and microeconomics. We studied what is flow and stock variables and their examples as well. And we did study what is consumable good and what is what we can say what is capital good, and we did discuss what is final goods and intermediate goods and the difference between them, and we did discuss the significance of economy and the legal yeah and the significance of an economy and some more topics, and we did discuss which are the most important and frequently asked questions and how to write your answers in a way so that you won't lose any marks. And that's it for today. Let's see you in the next video. And please let me know what could be done better. And if you even feel this video helps you, even like 15 to 20%, just share this video to your friends so that it can help them also. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much for this. Thank you.